Welcome, Cooking with Captain Ed. Today we're here to talk about new gear day and some new gear that I got. This is a new guitar that I got from Perle Guitars. Not a name you've ever heard of. Not surprising. I took a chance. I'd actually been watching this guitar for a long time on Reverb and thinking that I wanted to make it mine. The thing that made me nervous, it was a bit of a leap of faith. What made me nervous was that this was a hand-built. By all accounts that I could find, he hadn't actually sold a completed guitar ever to anyone before. So I was taking a chance with a pretty good sized pile of hard-earned money. But this is Perle Guitars, built by Nate Perle. Nate is known for a lot of Ibanez replacement parts, bodies, necks, pick guards and neck plates and stuff like that. He has a Reverb store, he has an eBay store, and he sells replacement parts. Obviously he's got access to a giant pile of wood and he's got a milling machine, and at some point he decided, you know what, I think I'm going to make a whole guitar and put it together and sell it. And that's what he did. He's got a couple more guitars out there on his site that are for sale. You can go and check them out. There are none others like this, but we'll see how that goes for Nate. So this is a Destroyerman. It's a hybrid of the Ibanez Destroyer and the Iceman model. If you look over here, you've got Phil Collen from Def Leppard. Back in the day, anybody who learned how to play hard rock guitar back in the 80s knew this guy, knew this guitar. It was like one of the hottest guitars on the planet forever. Just, a modern take back in the 80s on the Gibson Explorer with all of the upgraded features that Ibanez was noted for. Phil's had, 3 humbucking pickups and volumes and tones, and he had a Kahler tremolo system on it. Not really interested in all that, but I love the body shape. A lot of people love the body shape. And then over here, you've got Paul Stanley with his Iceman. Never a huge Kiss fan, and I really didn't like the back end of this guitar. This whole thing back here, I just don't like it. But I love this part here, the lower horn coming out with the little hook on the end. It was kind of badass. So the idea of mixing the two of those together was a great idea. And I'll be honest, I saw Paul Gilbert with one of these probably in the late 80s in the Racer X days. I think he probably had Ibanez make him a one-off. His was, back at the time, it was like bright neon green and probably had cowboy fringe hanging off the neck because Paul was like that. And really, Paul is still like that. That's part of why I love Paul. The other part is because of the crazy shred that he can do. But, he had that one-off, and it just sort of disappeared into obscurity. I could not find any indicator that Ibanez ever made a production model. And even the name Destroyerman, it's just what people know it as. There's other people who call it an Ice-Stroyer. I don't think that rolls off the tongue quite as good as Destroyerman. This particular model, I paid $1,300 US for. I did not haggle on the price, and there's a reason for that. When you're buying something, mass-produced or from a factory or whatever, if you want to haggle on the price, that's great. Get the best price you can. When you're paying somebody for their creativity, for their craftsmanship, I'm a little more inclined to pay what they're asking because I don't want to devalue their work. As a musician, I know, and I'm sure most of you as musicians know what it's like to have your work devalued. Even major recording artists in the last 10, 15, 20 years have seen their work devalued. And I won't get into any of that, but suffice it to say, it was handmade. The guy made it himself. He did all the work himself. I didn't want to try and haggle on the price. So let me talk about some of the features that we have on this guitar here. As you can see, I'm wearing my Def Leppard shirt. This is a guitar that just really, really makes you want to crank out some classic 80s rock. So, it really makes you want, We've got an African mahogany body finished in what he calls a true oil finish, but it's also got a 3-piece zebra wood neck with the zebra wood fingerboard. Several builders are doing like exotic woods, and especially zebra wood. Jeff Kiesel has been experimenting with zebra wood for the last few years as an option on the custom built guitars. These are jumbo stainless steel frets, and I've got to say they are pretty damn near perfect. That was the one thing that I was really worried about when I bought this guitar sight unseen. It's like, yeah, you know, he's got a milling machine, he can make a body. Yes, he's got a milling machine, he can make a neck. Can he fret a guitar? Can he do it with stainless and turn out a guitar that is really playable? I'm pleased to say that that's definitely the case. The reverse headstock, which I'm not always crazy about, a Corian nut, and this is a gem profile neck. It's an Ibanez gem profile, so it's thin, not too wide, but it's a very fast, very comfortable neck, especially if you're used to playing Ibanez. It's got the Ibanez all-access neck joint, which, to be honest, I had never really played with until I bought like a month and a half ago the guitar I started this video with, the Ibanez Premium RG over there. And that showed me the difference in the neck profile between the classic RG with the square heel joint and that new AANJ, the all-access neck joint. It's a really comfortable pocket to get your hand up in there. You've got easy access all the way up to the top. It's a wonderful neck joint. It's really comfortable. It's really flexible, but not in the way that you don't want. It's a gem neck, basically, but all made out of this zebra wood, which, as you can see, it's quite beautiful. Very exotic looking. We've got no fret markers on the front, but we do have them on top. Goto tuners. The Goto Tune-O-Matic bridge is also recessed. You can see that's kind of, there's a bit of a cavity carved into the body, and that's set down in there. And this one has DiMarzio Evolution pickups, the Steve Vai Evo pickups, and it's also got a 3-way toggle, you know, bridge, both, neck, and this volume knob has a coil tap, which I asked Nate to customize, and he did. So when you tap the coil on this particular guitar, because I asked him to do it this way, it only taps the neck pickup. And the reason for that is I really wanted these clean, sparkling tones. That's what you get with the tap. That's both. So talking about the body, it's, you know, as you can see, you know, from all the guitars that are behind me and a couple of others, the Paul Reed Smith and the Les Paul that are over on the wall over there, I'm pretty used to a standard guitar style body. So this is a new thing for me. So the next little bit that I'm going to talk about really has nothing to do with the build, and it has everything to do with just the body shape and the pluses and minuses of it. Now, when you get into an odd shaped guitar, you wind up having the strap pin really on the back of the center of the neck, and it's right there, and that can lead to like a lot of lean. You know, the guitar leans for, I mean, my gut doesn't help here, but let's not get into that too much. But it can lead, because you're not looking at a guitar that hangs from a strap straight up the middle like that, where it can just lay and it's even. You know, you're putting the pin back here, which is going to change how the guitar lays. And as you can see, this one lays forward. So right there, it's got that lean. So if you're a player that, you know, likes having it kind of kick back where you can see the fretboard, then plan on having your leg prop it up a little bit. It's unbalanced. It's very neck heavy, partially, you know, because of, you know, where the strap goes, well, entirely because of where the strap goes. You know, most guitars that are like this, in addition to lean forward, they tend to lean down. So if you buy a guitar like this, number one, you want to have a long strap. This particular one, in order to sit right here, this is, I think it's adjusted to about 56 inches on my 6-foot frame. I may still wind up going a little lower, you know, just to give a little more play. And you might want a strap, like a suede strap, or at least suede on the underside, so that it doesn't slide around so much. The strap I have on here is temporary. It's here mostly just until I find you know, the permanent strap that will be its home for the remainder of its days. Another feature of the neck, it's actually got the truss rod adjustment right in here. I don't know if you can see that. That's a feature that some of the newer guitars have been going with. There's no neck plate. It's a two-way adjustable thing. You can just jam a tiny screwdriver or an Allen key in there and make your truss rod adjustments that way. It's way easier. It's way more comfortable. I don't know why all guitar builders aren't going to that. The Evolution pickups are a little bit thin to me. That's largely a matter of personal preference. I have, in both of these Ibanez back here, I have Gravity Storms, which are newer and darker versions of essentially the same thing. And I think they're a little bit too dark in the red 540R from 1991. So what I may wind up doing eventually is swapping the Evos and the Gravity Storms and bringing a sense of happiness to both guitars. But for now, it's pretty close and it's good. I enjoy it. On the negative side, I think the body itself could have used a little bit more attention to detail. There are, if you take a closer look, this right here is a seam. You know, it's a joint. This is a two-piece body. And, you know, I have no problem with it. The seam is done really well, but typically if you're going to have a seam like that, you wind up doing it on a body that you finish with a color. I don't necessarily want the neon green that Paul Gilbert loved, but I may in the future look at finishing or having this finished in a solid color. And also, there's just little touches with the finish where it seems uneven, or, you know, the finish is a little bit heavy inside the horn here. It's just not up to what the rest of the guitar provides, and certainly not what the neck provides. The neck is fantastic and I love it. The frets being stainless, they're going to last 8,000 years, and they're fantastic. All right. Makes me want to just play some old Def Leppard. Great stuff. And you know, lots of other. I mean, there's some great references. Just great stuff. It's just so fun ripping out all those classic 80s riffs on this guitar. Like I said, it's a great player. It's a great player. It's got some great tones in it that you can pull out. Just one volume and the pickup switch, and that's it. just a lot of great tones in here. Thank you. Once again, you can go and you can look up Perle Guitars, P-E-R-L-E, on reverb.com. You can also look them up on eBay. He's got a store there, and you know, he's got a couple of other guitars for sale, a couple of other exotic shapes based on Ibanez. He's also got necks and bodies there, so go for it. He did a great job on the fretwork on this. Like I said, could be a little bit of improvement in the attention to detail on the body, but otherwise I'm really satisfied with it. As far as fretwork, neck work, playability, all of the parts and all the electronics, everything is top notch and up there with, you know, what I would expect of a $1,300 guitar. So check him out and give him a try if you like.